So is the microphone plugged in?
Okay, yes.
Well, it turns out that's helpful when recording a podcast.
That's a good point. So
I don't know a lot about technology, but I do know that when you buy the fancy microphone, you should plug it in.
I bet this sound's going to be much better this time.
I bet it is too.
So I wanted to, since we're going to start doing this thing for real and doing it on a regular basis.
Yeah, thanks to everybody who supported us in that, by the way.
Yeah, it's really great. All 34 YouTube views that we got and the one like out of those. By the way, I think...
We did get a couple Facebook shares, though, that were not from us. Other people that we know shared it.
Oh, right.
And we're like, check out this thing my friends were doing.
I'm pretty sure 10 of those...
I didn't share it.
YouTube watches were you and me as well.
I haven't seen it yet.
What? Oh, wow. In that case, we're totally going viral. This is great. So anyway, what I think we need to do now that we're legit is we should have like a standard opening to the show. Like Ira Glass kind of does his standard little shtick when he's starting This American Life. Josh and Chuck, my two favorite podcasters ever.
I actually also really love Josh and Chuck.
They've got the standard thing. Hey, I'm Josh, and this is Chuck, and that means
you don't have
to.
You don't have to do it.
Well, I'm just
you're
saying.
You're actually neither Josh nor Chuck.
I'm not
thankfully.
either. That's true. So we should have a thing.
Okay.
I think, and
you want a shtick.
Yeah, and it can be simple. I don't think it has to be too complex.
Well, good.
Just something like. Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Betsy.
And this is Guy Talks.
Girl rolls her eyes.
That was pretty good. We should do it like that, I think.
Deal.
So today's topic is going to be something that we've been talking about for a really long time.
Near and dear to our hearts.
And it's about time, I think, that we spoke about it with the world at large. And that is one of my favorite things, airport psychology.
Oh.
People are really weird at the airport.
People are the weirdest at the airport. I mean, you have your nervous travelers who never go anywhere and have their fanny pack and put their money on like a string around their neck and are constantly checking everything, and
which is adorable, let me just say.
Which may or may not be my mom.
Oh, everybody's mom.
It's everybody's mom, and I feel the need to like watch out for these people.
Definitely.
I mean, our plane lands if we're on a connecting flight, and I immediately have my app out, and I'm like, where's your connection going? Let me tell you what gate you're going to. And then explain to them, because very often I connect through the same airport, so I'm familiar how to get to that gate, even though they have 2 hours in order to get there.
Do you wear a blazer when you do this? Because I feel like...
I do not, but I actually have always wanted to be a flight attendant.
I should totally get you a blazer. You'd be a great gate agent.
I would be a great flight attendant in general. Except for when people don't shut off their laptops when it dings twice, the bell that goes off to tell you that you're, final descent. That drives me nuts.
You're a rule follower.
The guy who always thinks that it doesn't pertain to him. And then the poor flight attendant has to come around 4 times and say, "Sir, if you can go ahead and power that down." And he looks at her like she's speaking a different language.
Yeah.
I suppose perhaps he does speak a different language,
right, that's
but
possible.
It seems that it wouldn't be that way on every flight I'm on.
So I love these rookie travelers too. It's hard for me to remember being that person because we travel so much now.
Well, and we started traveling much younger than they did.
Right. And so we're accustomed to it.
Right.
But I forget that there is a huge swath of the population that may only go to an airport once or twice a year, and one of those visits might be to pick someone up.
Right.
So the other day we were on our way to Nashville, and the 4 of us are standing in the pre-check line, which is 4 people deep, us.
Right.
And meanwhile...
By the way, pre-check, greatest purchase you will ever make.
We're getting there, trust me.
Yeah.
So there is approximately 250 people in the regular security line. The line is stretching through all the little ropes and down to the escalator.
The line our friend Lindsay refers to as the commoners.
Right. So the commoners are all lined up. The peons.
Don't say peons. That makes it feel negative.
Commoners is like, okay. So the lowest caste of the
most infrequent travelers.
There you go. Anyway, in the normal security line, there's hundreds of them, and they are, by all rights, appropriately looking at panicked because they're looking at this line and thinking, this is going to take me 2 hours to get through.
Will I ever make it?
I thought I showed up with plenty of time. And, these are the same people who show up 2 hours before their flight, whereas we swing in like 45 minutes before the door
Oh,
closes.
yeah,
and
'cause
we're
we've
like,
already
I'm
checked
checking
in.
bags, don't worry.
Yeah.
So they're in a panic. They're sweating it out in this long line. And I turned to our friend Valet and I said, what are those people doing? Like, you can just sign up for PreCheck now.
Yeah, it's $85 for 5 years.
It's negligible.
So much time of your
Takes
life
a little
saved.
bit of effort. But what she rightfully reminded me of was that fact that we just discussed, which is that some of these people go to the airport one time a year. They never think about it. And if you aren't thinking about it on a regular basis and you only experience this once a year, then it just doesn't seem like a thing until you're in that moment and like the beginning of your once-in-a-lifetime vacation is already feeling like it's ruined because you're staring down a 250-person security line. I just want to take those people under my wings. Like I wanted to stop and talk to everyone who's in the snaking line back and forth, but that's butted up against the PreCheck line.
Because the PreCheck line is just a straight shot.
Yeah, all the people that are butted up right against our line, I wanted to just stop and talk to them and coach them through each one along the way. Like, look, you could be in this line.
Yeah.
This
it's not
could
a huge
be you.
investment.
Let me just
Spread that out over 5 years.
Right.
I mean, that's your Starbucks right there.
Agreed.
A cost of a Starbucks. Also, let's go back really fast to our friend Lindsay, who refers to the people in the normal security line as commoners.
Right.
Let's just do a quick shout out and let you know that on this past travel, she and I went from Nashville to Austin for a client meeting. And she did not get PreCheck. She did not put the number, her known traveler number, in on her ticket.
Rookie.
And so she had to actually wait in line with all the quote-unquote commoners, as she refers to. And I loved every second of it.
That's
I just
wonderful.
zoomed right through security and then stood there and watched her. I mean, I went and got a coffee because I had plenty of time to do that because she was still way in the back of the line. But I just stood there and watched her, and I just took such joy in that. Which is not nice. I know it's not nice, but also it was great. I really loved it.
That's instant karma resolving itself, and it's something I have to be cautious about because it's come around to bite me a few times too. Yeah. Not long ago, I was on a flight where
I thought this was one of those stories like not long ago, but in a land far, far away.
You thought I was just going to start spinning a fantasy yarn?
Yes, I know you. Okay. That's actually very normal.
It could happen.
Please don't.
I was on a flight and I was on the upgrade list, and I'm I currently have platinum status,
which
on
is
Delta.
a whole nother subject by the upgrade.
There
list.
are definitely, there are echelons there. But here's the thing: the upgrade list it's a bit arcane. The rules of this, right? That there's not just one hard and fast rule where it's easy to tell if you'll be upgraded ahead of another person. But I thought I understood it. Clearly, I do not, because I was on a flight, I believe, with our friend Lindsay, or I could be forgetting who it was. But anyway, I'm platinum. The person that I was flying with was gold. They got upgraded. I did not.
And gold is below platinum.
Correct.
Right.
So obviously, being the rational adult that I am, I threw a stink fit.
Threw a fit. Well, naturally. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, I confronted the gate agent and basically said, what is this? How does this work?
Did you say something like, I don't know if you know who I am, but allow me to show you that little luggage tag that Delta sent that says Matt Muehlener's platinum status.
And let me just say, you have to put the luggage tag on your luggage.
I have never done it.
I
think it's hysterical. It's like people are just bragging all the time.
Well, of course, that's
with
the
luggage
what
tag,
it
like
is.
on their backpack. It's not even on their suitcase. It's on their backpack,
Yeah.
so it can be worn all the time.
The elite status luggage tag is the equivalent of the Porsche baseball cap, right? With the Porsche logo on it, just so that everyone can look at you and go, "Oh, you must own a Porsche," or to ask you,
Also,
do you have a Porsche?
I actually believe it's pronounced Porsche.
No.
Really?
No. I have been corrected several times by Porsche owners. You say, "Oh, Porsche, you must not own one."
Clearly, I don't. I don't own one. I own a Honda Civic.
Yeah. I also do not.
I'm not
but
riding in style. I mean, I am.
Oh,
She's
yes.
great.
The Civic is a delightful vehicle.
So economical. The gas mileage is really wonderful.
And you've got like a whole cinematic production going on. You've got cameras on every part of your car.
I actually do. I certainly did not request that, but they came standard.
I got to be honest. To me, I believe that is a safety feature that is actually decreasing your safety.
I've had this conversation with several people who have driven with me because when I turn on my indicator to turn right,
I'm sorry, did you just call it an indicator?
I always do.
Oh my Lord.
What do you call it?
Well, normal humans call that a turn signal.
Oh.
When I engage my indicator,
I did not say engage.
I mean, you might as well have.
I was thinking it in my heart.
You know, if I only I could count how many times my heart has said engage. That's a Trekkie joke. That went right over your head, but it's okay. Anyway, the point is when you engage your indicator,
I can't even roll my eyes anymore. They're so far back in my eye sockets at this point that
that does look painful.
And I already have a headache.
So here you are engaging your indicator. And when
I turn on my right turn signal, do you understand that one better?
Following you. That's
okay.
Good.
There's a camera on my right passenger mirror
Yeah.
that turns on the screen that's in my dashboard.
Right.
And the problem is, it's very helpful when you're driving on a highway because you know if someone's next to you and
Sure,
it has like
blind spot.
It has like the indicator mark, so I know how close they are and I can just move over.
Ooh.
The problem is when I'm sitting at a stoplight and I've turned on my turn signal,
Yeah.
also known as an indicator. I'm indicating which way I'm turning.
Right.
And the screen comes on, and I can see everything that's going on next to my car and behind my car, and sometimes I get lost in watching that. So if there are a bunch of people like crossing the street behind my car, I just watch them, and I miss the light turning green. Someone starts honking at me. It becomes this whole production. So I agree. The cameras, while they do help when I'm backing out of spaces and such, are really distracting.
Yeah, you might as well have a TV show on.
That is what happens when I'm sitting at a stoplight.
Yeah.
I totally get, caught up in watching some person walking, which is not exciting. Let's be honest.
Right.
It's not exciting.
But it's a screen. And at this point, our brains are trained to just zero in and lock in on a screen. It's light and sound and movement. And granted, that's going on all around us too, but we've been watching all that stuff while we're driving. The screen pops up and our brain goes, ooh, something new. And now you're not watching the light. And now you're that person that I sit behind at a light, and you get I give you 5 whole seconds.
I hate when you honk
5.
at me.
Well, I give you 5 whole seconds.
Why don't you just text me and tell me
In
to drive?
Chicago, no one would give you 5 whole seconds, I assure you.
I know. When I lived in Chicago, I didn't own a car on purpose.
Well, for just
They have a beautiful public transportation system. And by beautiful...
Wow, slow down.
Okay.
Yeah.
By beautiful, I don't mean in appearance or in cleanliness.
Okay, so
Certainly.
So in what sense do you use the term beautiful?
Functionality.
I see. Okay.
It was definitely not beautiful. They were very dirty. But I'm fine with that. I'm not fancy enough to care about that.
Really?
Really?
I feel like you're very fancy.
I love that you feel like I'm very fancy.
Well, at least from a cleanliness standpoint.
I mean, I'm very clean. You know how I like things to be
See,
clean.
I use the term fancy about you in the same way that you use the term beautiful about the Chicago subway system, a rail system.
So there's no correlation.
Right. Not fancy, except in the sense that you like things to be clean.
Love things to be clean.
And so that, to me, it makes me strongly question why you would ever board any form of public transportation.
Oh, maybe you missed the part where
aside
I said
from first class on an airplane.
I didn't own a car when I lived there.
Right.
So aside from walking everywhere, which I often did, but I don't know if you know this, Chicago is just south of Milwaukee. So they get a lot of snow
Yeah.
and not great winter weather, so I couldn't really walk everywhere. My options were limited, you see?
I'm picking up a little sarcasm, which is very uncommon.
So uncommon.
So
Yeah.
I just want to keep I'm just going to mentally tag that behavior and watch for a developing pattern to see if maybe this could be a sign of future mental illness.
Did you? Wow, what a leap!
Well,
Did you start tagging
it?
it? Did you start tagging this like 12 years ago when you met me?
I've been
or-
keeping a close eye on the developing pattern.
How's it doing?
I have concerns. I'll
Do you
be
want-
honest.
do you
I'll be
wanna-
honest with you.
Okay.
I have a few concerns.
We'll talk about this off air.
Are you sure you don't want to? You don't want to pop psychology diagnose each other in the podcast?
Well, here's the thing. You actually have no formal training or expertise in any of this.
That's
so
why it's pop psychology.
pop psychology makes me feel
J-pop,
like
T-pop, pop psychology.
we're going to start talking about like In Sync or something.
Dirty
in which
pop.
case,
We could do some dirty pop psychology.
I know a lot about In
Sick and
Sync.
tired of all you. I don't know how that goes. What's the deal
No,
with this
but
pop live?
My favorite
right?
part is that people out in podcast land cannot see the dance moves that
Oh,
you're
that's
doing
good.
while you're making up words to a song that you clearly have heard one time when you were 17.
Yeah, dirty pop. I did not listen to that often.
No.
Even at 17, I was already listening to talk radio a bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
There was not a lot of music.
It explains a lot about you.
I'm sure it did shape my development.
That's why I'm the fun one.
Boy, that's depressing.
Wow! Wow!
No, I retract that. Fun Betsy is one of your split personalities that I think a lot of people would enjoy spending time with.
One of my split personalities.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not the politically correct term anymore. It's not multiple personality either. It's what is it? Personality. I'm gonna have to look it up.
Okay.
I think
Let's
I've got,
clarify
I think
that
I
I
have
only
the
have-
DSM at home.
I only have one personality.
So let's go back to airport psychology for a little bit because we've deviated.
Quite far.
We've been talking psychology, which I think is interesting, but there's still a lot of interesting psychology happening at the airport that I want to get into. One of those
We haven't
is,
even hit on my favorite one yet.
No, but I do want to get there. But first, I want to address something that I think we will potentially agree on, and that is the idea of public versus private at the airport. So here's what I mean by that. I feel like a certain category of person, because of the closeness of an airplane cabin and how when you're sitting in that little seat and kind of cramped and surrounded by seats in front and back, it can feel like a private space, that some people have taken this to the extreme and decided that airline travel is not a thing you're doing in public. So I have seen people, for example, on the most basic level of this, it's the people who wear pajamas to the airport.
Or the ones that take their shoes off as soon as they get on the plane.
Right, shoes come off. I've literally watched someone trim their toenails on the airplane in their seat
Oh my gosh.
and put those
Was
toenail
it our friend
clippings.
Todd?
No,
Because you know how Todd loves to trim his fingernails.
he cares about grooming,
And I don't allow that in the office anymore.
not
So
for good reason.
he's clearly got to be doing it somewhere else.
Maybe on the planes.
I really hope not. I'm going to talk to him about this.
This person put their fingernail clippings on the tray table.
Oh.
People eat food off of that, which, by the way, don't ever eat food off the tray table. You know, people's toenails have been on that.
I did not know people's toenails have been on that.
Yes.
I've never seen this on a plane.
Also, flight attendants have told me that other horrifying things happen on tray tables, like people changing their baby's
I was going to say,
diaper.
I have one time seen someone change their baby's diaper, which
Mm-hmm.
there's a bathroom. Do they know this? It's not large, but they have a fold down.
They do. I have changed a baby's diaper on a plane before, so I
you're
know this.
You're familiar.
Right.
Yeah, I've never done that.
It's challenging, but not any more challenging than changing a baby's diaper in a bathroom that doesn't have a fold down.
I will, on the lines of babies on planes, say that on more than one occasion, I have been sitting next to a woman who is holding her baby, and she randomly looks at me and says, "Can you hold my baby?"
What?
Which
That's amazing airport psychology. I've never experienced that.
I am the kind of person who will say yes if you ask me to do such a thing.
Yeah.
But there's no way to know that I'm not some crazy person.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, I can't go too far with the baby. We're in a
That's true. You're
Yeah.
not going to escape with the baby.
no, but also,
But what if
it's
you're-
a baby? Shouldn't you hold on to your baby?
You
and
should.
the one baby, the first time it ever happened to me, it was like a newborn baby. I was concerned the baby was on the plane.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Had I an urgent and important need, I would hand my baby to a flight attendant.
Good. Yeah, that makes more sense to
They're
me.
at least something of an authority figure. They've been through some minimum modicum of safety training. They're probably pretty friendly. And a lot of them
Well,
really
not
like
all of them.
not all of them, no. But a lot of them, when you bring a baby on board, they're like, oh, like they have the valet reaction.
Yes.
Ay, mio. They get very excited about the baby's presence. Without question, would never just turn to the person next
Now-
to me in the seat and go, hold my baby while I go handle something.
Yes. Well, first of all, they didn't say that. And if
mean,
they
that's
had,
how
I
I
would
would
have
say
felt
it.
very uncomfortable. Handle something.
I have some business up front.
Well, and here's the other thing. It's not like, you know this about me. When I get on planes, I kind of shut down.
Yeah,
Like,
put it on lockdown.
just put it on lockdown. I oftentimes will put on my headphones and listen to no music,
Yes, always.
just because people think I'm then listening to music.
That's a good strategy.
I use airplane time as work time, which you know. Thankfully, somebody finally, I have no idea why it took so long, invented internet on the airplane.
So great.
Which we're so much closer to the satellites. I'm not sure why this didn't happen earlier.
Why it's not free, I can't understand.
No.
Well, of course I know why, because they want to make money.
Yeah, you're going to charge me $3.99. I get it. I'm happy to pay it.
But if my Woodford Reserve is free in first class, why am I paying for substandard Wi-Fi?
Well, the rest of us who aren't in first class are paying for our Woodford Reserve, which, by the way, I don't do. I never accept any of the beverages or food on a plane. I don't know why. It's like a weird thing.
Not even a water?
No. Mm-mm. I mean, I always have my
A
own.
Biscoff cookie?
Oh, we don't have Biscoff cookies. We have these fancy other ones.
Oh.
Which you would love, actually. You should
Well, I
take
mean,
United Flight just for the cookie.
No, that's not enough incentive.
Maybe I'll bring you one. Maybe I'll say yes
Why don't you
one
just
time.
take a few cookies home for me? I'm
I'll
not
just ask for a
jumping
couple extra.
carriers just for a snack.
But my point is, I get on the plane and I am not what some other people may think is my normal personality, where I'm happy
Right.
to talk to anybody for any reason.
You're in risk avoidance mode.
Yeah, I just, you know what, just keep to myself, do my thing, get some work done. So it's not like I've had any conversations with these people who are asking me to hold their baby. Maybe I've said, sure, no problem, when they ask if they can get up to go to the bathroom.
Well, now
where
they know you're a generous person.
where they take the baby with them.
Right.
So I just don't, it's so confusing to me.
That's shocking.
This has happened on more than one occasion. I would say at least 3 times.
Maybe it's just you.
Maybe I just look like somebody that you should hand your baby to. Now, here's the thing.
Do people hand you their babies in other circumstances? Like outside of airplanes?
Like people that I don't know? Because
Yeah.
people that I do know that have babies hand me their babies all the time.
Well, sure.
But that's different.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, have you ever been in the grocery store
No.
and someone turns from the produce and they're like, I really want to more closely inspect this melon. Will you please hold my baby?
No, nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said, I want to more closely inspect this melon.
Well,
But
not that you
also,
heard. Some people say that.
I don't think people say that.
People say that.
Oh, these are the same people that we're always talking about, the people you can't identify. No, that's never happened to me. I don't feel like I am the person that people hand their babies to only on planes.
Do you feel like you're the kind of person that knows when produce is ripe or not?
No, I have no idea. And I honestly feel like I failed this because my mom has tried a million times to explain it to me.
Oh, so she is good at it. She
Very
knows.
good. My parents both are. My parents they're the level of grocery shopper that I aspire to be at some point.
My parents are also very good. Now, my mom worked in grocery stores her whole life.
Oh, so
And
she's got an advantage.
My dad's first job was at a grocery store, which is where he met my mom, actually.
Oh, my parents met at a Sears when they both worked at Sears.
Get out. That's
Yeah.
super cute.
Yeah, the retail.
So my dad worked in produce, so he knows a thing or two about produce. My mom worked in grocery stores for 40 plus years, so she knows about produce. So like they just like intrinsically know when things are in season, stuff like that. So like I'll buy strawberries anytime I see strawberries. If I look at strawberries and I'm like, oh yeah, I want a strawberry.
You
give me
flip
that.
it over though and look and make sure they're not
Sure.
gross on
Yeah.
the bottom.
Always look.
That's
Always
what I
look.
do too. All berries.
But if I'm going to buy, let's say, and I would never buy this because I don't like melons, but if I were going to buy a cantaloupe.
Oh, I love cantaloupe. It's my favorite of the melons.
Okay, so let's say I were going to pick up a gift, like a housewarming gift for my friend Betsy, and
You
I
should in
bring
fact
a
buy
cantaloupe.
the pineapple. It is the international sign of welcome. I'm unsure if you know this.
I literally did not.
Yeah,
So
it
I just
actually,
learned something
anytime
from
someone
you.
moves into a home, I always bring them a pineapple.
Even when they're not in season?
Maybe you don't remember this.
What if
But
the-
I left a pineapple on your desk when I was supposed to come to your house for the housewarming,
You totally did.
and then I couldn't come to the
I
housewarming.
do remember that
Yeah,
now.
it's the international sign of welcome.
Okay, but when pineapples are not in season,
They're always in season.
what does that mean?
When have you ever been to the grocery store and not seen a pineapple?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I just assumed that there are big chunks of time where pineapples are not readily available or where the pineapples are subpar.
I feel like there are very few pieces of produce that you cannot find at all during a season. They become more expensive, certainly, when they're not in season, but they can always grow them somewhere around the world and they import them. Do they not?
Well, that's true. And all the pineapples are coming from, a long way away anyway. They're not growing pineapples in like Antigo, Wisconsin. That's a town in Wisconsin.
I actually believe it's called Antigo, which is why I'm so confused right now. It's on the way up to Phelps. I passed through there.
Oh, that's a
It's
good
actually
point.
one of my favorite cities in Wisconsin.
I've never been to Antigo. But they just recently had a very sad thing happen. That's why it's in my mind. They had a shooting. There was a shooting.
At a school?
At prom, I think. Like a kid showed up and started shooting people at prom.
That's terrible.
That's why it was in my mind, but I did not know the pronunciation of
I mean, maybe
the
I
town,
say it
obviously.
wrong. It's unlikely because I don't say anything wrong.
I feel like Antigo sounds much more tropical.
I actually was thinking Antigua when you were
Right.
saying that.
Okay, sure.
And I was like, that's not very close to us. That would count as far away, I feel like.
So maybe what
Antigo, much closer.
What I meant to say is it's not like they grow pineapples right here in Turks and Caicos, Wisconsin.
Right. Paris, Wisconsin. It's just not happening.
No. Well, so I've learned something new. So to go back to this cantaloupe, I would have no idea. I don't know if you tap on it, if you roll it down the aisle, if you like have to take a bite out of it or rub it on your shirt.
Do you know how I figure it out or how I make my final purchasing decision? The grocery stores have really helped us out with this. They put stickers on things now that say ripe.
What?
They do it on avocados too.
What grocery store is this?
All of them?
No.
That I go to. All of them that I go to.
Well,
I don't go to your fancy overpriced grocery store, as we've talked about many times.
We are pretty fancy.
It's because if I walk into a grocery store and there's only 2 to 3 different brands of ketchup, I'm out. That's not enough for me, even though we all know I'm going to buy the Heinz ketchup. I just want a variety.
See
I want to go
product placement there?
to
That
the
was
large.
Good. If anyone from Heinz is listening, we are still looking for our first corporate sponsor.
And I do love me some Heinz ketchup.
Could do like a service in kind arrangement.
Ooh, that would actually be great.
Yeah.
I would appreciate
like a
that.
year's supply of Heinz, and Betsy just mentions it in every podcast.
We would need more than a year's supply.
Oh, wow. What? That's true. With our global reach, we do have some clout at this point.
I mean, we started with one guy in Canada. Now we've got 2. Justin.
And a Mexican.
Oh, I mean, she does live here.
Well, but
she's still
from
Mexican.
Mexico.
That's totally
That's
true.
Global reach.
That's true. Her parents are in town. Maybe we can get them to listen. Yes. And they live in Tijuana, so that's...
Right. And it doesn't matter if they listen to it here and then go back to Tijuana. They're still part of our global audience then.
Yeah.
You only have to listen once, folks.
I'm having lunch with them on Monday. I'm going to bring this up.
First time's free.
And so are all the times after that.
That's a good point. This is not actually drugs. So I want to come back, and I think we've done a remarkably good job of staying on topic this episode. And by that I mean slightly better than last time. But I do want to bring it back to the airport one last time, because the reason we chose this topic was that last week you sent me a text message.
This week. 2 days ago.
2 days ago, this week, you sent me a text message with an image as you were flying home from Austin. Describe that image for our audience, please.
Okay, sure. Basically, it was every other member of my flight from Austin to O'Hare, which is a large plane, a very large plane, waiting in line for approximately 45 minutes before they announced pre-boarding. They are all lined up, ready to go. And I will never understand why our seats are all assigned.
Yeah.
I don't need to stand in line with you for 45 minutes when I know that I'm going to seat AC. It's mine. I already bought it. It says it right on my boarding pass.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
In my mind, there are only 2 reasons why it's reasonable to rush onto the plane.
Right. I understand one of them very easily. It's the baggage situation, the overhead storage. It's at a premium. I understand that. And you don't want to be one of the last people who gets the announcement, boarding group 5, who they say...
Poor bastards.
Boarding group 5. I'm really sorry. The overhead bin is full. You're going to have to gate check your bag. Yeah. Which for some people, this is really upsetting to them. Mm-hmm. I don't care.
Well, it really depends on your situation on the ground, right? So if I've already checked bags, then as soon as I get to the gate...
Which I suppose we normally do.
I'm gate checking that bag.
Yep.
Because that's just one extra free bag that I get now.
Right.
I don't want to carry stuff with me. It's
Right.
not like I have a bunch of pills in there that I need to take on the plane or whatever.
Right.
But
well,
some
they
people,
make you pull those out anyway.
Oh yeah,
They don't allow those underneath. Those in the
batteries of
the
some
batteries,
kind.
yeah, lithium batteries can't go underneath.
But some people do have legitimate reasons for wanting to hang on to the bag. And I have been burned on this once before where I gate checked my bag, not really thinking it through. That was my only bag, so I didn't have anything to check. But they were asking for volunteers, and I thought, oh, what the heck? I'll be the nice guy. Gate check my bag. Let some other schmuck get his bag on the plane. And then I land, no bag. The bag didn't make it, whatever, and now I don't have clothes. I
Oh,
don't
they
have
were
any-
they were gonna send your bag all the way to your final destination. They weren't just gonna put it under the plane and then put it in the jet bridge.
Correct. Right. It's not one of those gate checks where they just give you the
Okay.
little pink
The little green tag, yeah.
or green tag. They literally checked it, and then it got lost in transfer,
yeah,
and so
that's
now I
rough.
didn't have my bag. Now, that's just as bad as losing your bag anytime, but it's an especially painful moment because you, out of the goodness of your heart, offered it up where you would have just had it, been right in the car on your way to your destination. That's really annoying.
Well, at least you didn't get charged $25 for them to lose it.
That's a good point. So, silver linings.
Silver linings.
Silver linings.
And what's the second reason that people rush to wait in line?
Oh, that's booze. So if you are, like I am at times, upgraded to first class, and you don't want to spend $9 on a beer in the airport, to me, that's an excellent reason to just proceed directly onto the plane, get settled in. Because then you sort of get like a cocktail hour while everyone else is getting on the plane, and you get to watch them walk past
Oh, you get to watch them parade past you, which is good people watching.
Right.
Yeah.
So this might be my favorite moment of airport psychology, which is sort of the walk of shame that airports make economy passengers do.
It is a little interesting, isn't it, that you have to parade past all of the first class people?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're on a very large plane, in which case the elite travelers that are sitting in first class turn left at the door, and the rest of us commoners turn right.
Right. But the airlines, I think, do this wisely, but from a marketing perspective, right? Because basically now what you're walking past is a live action commercial for first class.
It's very comfortable.
Look how much these people are enjoying being better than you. Look how much these people
Wow, they are not better than me.
Look how much these people are relishing their $4 bottle of red wine served in a plastic cup. That is living the high life.
I'm sorry, don't they serve it in glass?
Not till you're in the air. Plastic only on the ground. Safety first, Betsy.
Safety first.
So here's the tiny, and this is where I will end my airport psychology list because this is my favorite of all. But my favorite moment is the moment where the first class flight attendant literally stops the parade of economy travelers, makes them wait and stand and watch while the whole jet bridge is full. Meanwhile, the other flight attendants are making those announcements like, hurry up and sit down, everybody get in your seats.
For an on-time departure.
On-time departure. And meanwhile, the first class flight attendant stops everyone so that she can go take drink orders and deliver drinks or maybe take my coat, right?
Mm-hmm.
These really inconsequential moments, but where it's very obvious that there is a class system at work here and you just need to go ahead and wait. It's a terrible and wonderful moment in my mind, depending on which side of the seat you're sitting in.
I have only flown first class a few times, so I think it's a terrible system.
Of course.
Mostly, I think it's terrible when after the plane takes off and we're at cruising altitude, and the little bell goes off that you can get up and move around the cabin. And what does the first class flight attendant do? She
Oh,
stands up,
yes.
she walks to the back of first class, and she closes the curtain.
Right.
Because God forbid anybody in coach look at anybody in first
I don't
class.
want your gaze upon me, except when I've already been seated before you and you have to walk past me. Then I want your
Which
gaze
oftentimes,
upon me.
when I am walking past you, which doesn't happen anymore because we don't fly the same airline, I do give you a look of just kind of disgust and sadness.
Yes.
And then say, can you send a drink back for me?
Which which sadly you cannot do.
You cannot do. It's not.
No.
It doesn't work. It's
Otherwise, I'd keep those ladies busy.
sad. Just run it back and forth.
Hey, send something to the guy in
28C.
16C. Yeah, he's an old buddy of mine. Really like that guy. There's a woman there, sir. Well, he's had a very unique path. He's made some choices.
Just
and
call him Phil. Move on.
just
Give
drop
Phil
it
this
off.
drink.
Oh, well,
I do love air travel.
as is so often the case in our conversations, Betsy, we have come full circle and have made many stops along the way.
Yeah,
It's
lots
almost
of detours, actually.
It's almost like most of my trips to Alaska. Lots of layovers.
Lots of layovers in random cities.
A couple more of these, and we'll be elite podcasters.
Ooh.
Fancy.
I hope there's a curtain
Oh, don't worry. There's
to peek our heads out of.
most certainly a curtain. So I think this is a good place to wrap it up. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel great about that.
All right, everybody. Well, this has been Guy Talks.
Girl rolls her eyes.